Hi everyone, I'm Natasha from Together Time Family, where we make having a successful garden fun and easy. And today we are looking at oregano, a very easy to grow herb that tastes delicious in many different cuisines and is easy to dry and preserve at home. So oregano is quite honestly one of the easiest things in the world to grow. Once established, it is drought tolerant and it is very cold tolerant. I'm filming in mid-March on a very chilly, windy day, so I apologize if you hear some wind. But this oregano has been outside all winter long. It's even been snowed on, and it's doing fine. So depending on the variety, most oregano is cold tolerant down somewhere if you're in zone 4 or 5, depending on the variety. If you're somewhere warmer, your oregano is going to be fine outside by itself all winter long. So, and like I said, it is drought resistant once established. It does not need to be fertilized. In fact, oregano grown in more lean soil tends to be more flavorful. The only things that you need to do to take care of your oregano are make sure it has plenty of sunlight and fairly well drained soil. So it does not like to sit around in soggy soil with its feet wet. So if you have very thick, compact soil, you might want to add some compost just to improve drainage, but it really does not need the nutrients. And it will need to be watered some as a small seedling. If you're growing from seed or from a very small nursery transplant, do water it gently when it is just starting out in life. I like to use a watering wand. It's more gentle, less likely to blast the dirt away from your little delicate seedlings, no matter what you're growing. Once it is established and has several sets of true leaves, you can start harvesting anytime you want just by picking off an individual leaf or two. Or if you want to encourage your plant to bush up and spread out, you can trim your oregano at a leaf node. Now, a leaf node is anywhere that a pair of leaves comes out of the stem, like you can see right here. So just come in with a small pair of snips and trim right above the leaf node, and those leaves left behind will turn into their own new stems, and this plant will bush up. And it tends to grow for about 3 or 4 years, still tasting really good. After that, the flavor can diminish a little bit, so if you want to rejuvenate your oregano patch, very easy thing to do is just let it self-seed and grow some new oregano. This is actually all one plant that I started in the ground. This is a container. I started in this container about 10 months ago, and it's spread out as well, as you can see right here. You can actually use oregano as a creeping ground cover, which is really handy. And you can grow it with other herbs as well. It grows well with taller herbs. Over here, these are some stalks from basil that I had growing in the same pot last year, and it grew very well with this basil and with some parsley until I let some swallowtail butterfly caterpillars eat up all my parsley because I figured it was worth it. If you want to harvest a large quantity of oregano to dry, just come deeper down into the plant and harvest at a leaf node so you get a whole sprig. Just make sure to leave some behind, obviously, if you want your plant to continue growing and thriving. And you can take your oregano sprigs, if you live somewhere that's a drier climate, you want them longer than this if you can, you can hang them up to dry somewhere dark and preferably not humid. If you live somewhere humid, then you might need to use a food dehydrator to dehydrate your oregano. It does take a little bit more to dehydrate oregano than rosemary or thyme, but a simple at-home basic food dehydrator will do it. I have the new version of the Presto dehydrator, and it's really handy because the trays actually flip so you can store them all in one small stack instead of a huge stack when the dehydrator is not in use, which is a huge improvement over some of the older models. So dry on low, you'll have an herb setting. Dry on low until it's all dried out. Do not crumble the leaves before you store them. Place them somewhere that you can seal up so it's not being exposed to air. Place it somewhere cool and dark, and oregano can easily stay delicious and well, not quite fresh tasting because oregano actually tastes more potent when dried, but it'll taste great for at least 6 months when it's stored well. And I prefer to put my dried oregano into glass jars, mason jars, that I seal using the vacuum sealer attachment for my food saver. And then I just keep a small quantity out in a separate container that I actually open and close for cooking. So it's very easy to keep your oregano tasting great all the way until next season when you store it that way. So I really hope that you found this look at oregano helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.